stream chat because I can see that. But yeah, so it's all good. So indeed, we do have DBS going to be spawning here as the Green Terran in the eastern position, and we have NrSfishlips going to be spawning here as the Red Zerg. It's a best of 3. It's a you bugger. So we have NrSfishlips going to be spawning here as the Red Zerg in the western position. Cross positions on Metalopolis. Some say this is Zerg favoured. Oh, the quarterfinals as well. That's interesting to note, as these guys can show us some epic games in this best of 3. Hopefully we will have a fantastic series here. So as an American, indeed. So hopefully for you, Mr. Weaklink, we will have that Muslim show match against another person, which could be very, very interesting indeed. But anyway, we're in another game now. Let's talk about this game. And it looks like we already have DBS going to be walling off at the front of his base. So normal for a kind of TVZ. I always want to say PV something. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm Protoss. I don't know. But Fishlips, meanwhile, I wouldn't be surprised if he does go for that hatchery first. We've been seeing him go for that in every single one of his games during this tournament. So he may end up going for that. Indeed, he is saving up. Going to be going for that on 15, no doubt. And it's whether or not he can, defend against the early pressure. In order to be able to deal with this. So as an American, I have to ask, has Europe accepted SC2 as a new sport? Sorry, yeah, I mean, Europe in general, other than England, are very good about accepting games, just in general. Like Germany and countries like that are fantastic at accepting games and stuff. The ESL and things like that, and the EPS in Germany has been going on for what seems like forever now with Warcraft 3 and StarCraft and blah 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 blah. But, some countries like England are very, very hard on kind of accepting these things. And I haven't been in England for a few years now. I've lived in Finland for 2 years. But I've lost my train of thought. Yeah, I still don't think England actually accepts games that much. It's a bit of a pain, to be honest with you. So I moved to Finland? No, that's not the only reason. So, anyway, it does look like Fishlips is going to be throwing down his expansion here, and it looks like DBS is going to be indeed trying to put some pressure on. Only has the 1 Rax out just yet, and this is looking to be... this is sort of kind of some forced pressure, losing some mining time here for the Zerg. A good position to be in at this point. Although if he can get this bunker up, get that lone marine in it, then he's going to be in a good position. But indeed, the SCV does fall, and this pressure is going to be fended off pretty darn easily. And yeah, so this lone marine here going to be doing a little bit of harassment, and no doubt going to be picking away at that overlord, but will not get the kill. We do have 4 Zerglings on the way. They'll be able to deny him pretty easily. Meanwhile, though, we do have that factory on the way as well as a reactor. Probably we'll see a switch on these two. Going to be getting some reactor Hellions out. Very, very popular indeed with Terran nowadays. Command center on the way, so he wants to keep up in the economy game. Doesn't want to end this too soon, as another reactor refinery does go down. Could go for some Hellion Banshees at this point. As it is such a normal tech switch in TV blah blah. TV whatever. GOM TVT. Yeah, so Zergling going to be pushing up this ramp. Wants to see that reactor, but probably will not see it, as he's been denied by these Marines, and that's pretty big at this point. You want to be able to see these Hellions as quickly as possible. He does have that Spine Crawler already down in position, but ideally I would like to see 2 Spine Crawlers down in order to be able to deal with that. Maybe we're going to see a Spine Crawler. Yes, we're going to see a Spine Crawler, as he did glance over those there. But this Spine Crawler could be very late for this push, and it's going to be indeed interesting to see whether or not Fishlips can be able to hold this off. There's a slight opening here. Once again, DBS really could exploit that at this point. Doesn't have a Roach Warren down either, so no Roaches on the way in order to be able to deal with this. And indeed does find the opening. Going to be roasting away that one lone drone at this point. And, ooh, we do have Cloak on the way. So, DBS going very, very heavy on this kind of one base in inverted commas. aggressive style, as you know, he does have that command center already up and running. Really wants to kind of pull himself back into this, not by making his own SCVs, but by killing off his opponent's SCVs, which can put him in a very good position indeed. So now it looks like we do have Zergling Speed going to be finishing up. That's not too bad in order to be able to try and surround those Hellions, but ultimately if Blue Flame does appear, it can get very, very dodgy indeed, depending on positioning and things like that. So we'll have to see if DBS can exploit that, or if Fishlips can be in a good position. That being said, he's not getting Blue Flame, so what on earth am I on about? May get Blue Flame later on. It's a very, very popular choice. And now a big mana of SCV is going to be transferred over here, and just securing his front. These Hellions looking to do a little bit of harassment anywhere they can, just keeping the Zerg contained in essence, not letting any Zerglings run past. And he's going to be in a bit of a bad spot until he gets some kind of higher tech unit out, unless he gets tons of Zerglings out in order to be able to deal with that. But it does look like we do have that cloaking finishing up. Banshee's going to be on the way here, and Siege Tank's on the way as well. So he's going to be transferring into a pretty standard ZVT. Going to be getting a lot of Marines out of these barracks. I'm so tongue-tied nowadays. Right now, I don't know why at all. It's very, very hard to cast solo for such a long time. After this, my voice is going to be absolutely dead, but the Banshee is already in here doing some harass, morphing that Overseer in as quickly as possible, but it's not going to be out in time before this Banshee is able to get quite a few kills. Already up to 6 kills here, 7 kills, but now he's going to be fended off by these 3 Queens. And there's Hellions, though, do try and run in, do not get any damage done, so DBS doing a good job of defending from that, but getting yet another drone kill here, and another drone maybe? Yeah, they're weakening some, but not getting them. There we go, 12 kills there on that. So just coming to the kills tab, 13 workers killed here for DBS, but I mean, coming to the income tab, DBS still a little bit ahead in the income, so it's whether or not he can kind of mule this up as quickly as possible, get a few more SCVs on there, working their magic, and looks like he's going to be going for a Raven as well. And I really like how more Terrans are getting Ravens in this matchup nowadays. It's very, very important, especially if your opponent goes for that Ling Bling style. Burrowed Banelings even can be very, very pesky indeed. So you don't want to be wasting scan after scan after scan on that. Getting the Raven out there, and it's just got such good utility as well. With those PDDs, with those point defense drones, able to use for a multitude of tasks. So DBS here, going to be gearing up, but oh, 4 tricky Banelings going to be morphing in behind the glory of the Dominion statue. He could do a little bit of damage to the economy line here. 2 explosions will kill those workers, so he could split them up or just detonate them in the middle of everything. I'm hoping he moves in at any time soon. But once again, you know, this Banshee has been so pesky in midfield, getting 15 kills, killed off a few Zerglings meanwhile, and been generally annoying overall. So it looks like NrSfishlips going to be moving in with these, and will he react in time? He did move his units there, but they could kill so many workers, kill a lot there, and DBS now, I mean, just coming to the units, worker loss tab, evening that up ever so slightly, doing a good job there with the 4 Banelings, not too much of a cost at all for such a great gain at this point, and Fishlips now just looking to get himself back into this with the Spire, so going for that Baneling Mutalisk style that he went for against the other Terran that he played. I can't remember the name. Oh god. Caster's Curse, man. Caster's Curse. Now the Banshee's going to be coming in here, trying to clear out a little bit of this. Raven going to be coming in as well, maybe going to throw down the PDD to soak a few Mutalisk bits of fire, but ultimately this one Siege Tank here, it really is the linchpin of this attack, and these Marines are going to be stimming back and forth. Stim is not finished yet, so doesn't want to move in just yet. It could be very, very bad as Centrifugal Hooks is finished. More Banelings going to be morphing in. Scan does drop. Trying to clear out a few of these creep tumors. Second and third tank do come along now, and throwing down these auto turrets in order to be able to also create a little bit of an interesting position. This is really, really interesting. I love the use of auto turrets at this point. Throwing down more scans, trying to clear off as many creep tumors as possible. The Mutalisks fly in, take out the Banshees, but losing a few Mutalisks in the process could be absolutely devastating. Coming in for the push here, Zerglings trying to get the surround. Banelings blow up on all the Marines, and doing a fantastic job of almost clearing the entire thing up. Just great work there by Fishlips, waiting until just the perfect moment to be able to clear that up. And now Fishlips is in a pretty good position, despite DBS actually doing a very good job of macroing behind it. Look at this, 800 minerals up for Fishlips at this point, whereas DBS, when we came back to his base, was pretty much on nil. So, yeah, DBS doing a great job here, although he lost that push very, very scarily, and NrSfishlips did a great job of clearing it up. So, we do have +1 on the way for these Marines. Very, very important to get out for those Mutalisks. And actually, I prefer to actually get armor upgrades against Mutalisks simply because it negates so much of their damage. But, and again, against Lings, they attack very fast for short bursts of damage. So, that could be very, very strong indeed to get those armor upgrades. Personally, I prefer them, but not everyone does. So we do have a Roach Warren on the way, 22 Zerglings, and these Mutalisks looking to come in for a little bit of harassment. These missile turrets ever slow slightly late, but Stimmed Marines will be able to fend these Mutalisks off. And grabbing his third here, wants to get that droned up as quickly as possible. We do have an armory on the way as well, so no doubt where on earth is the armory? Why was I looking in the Zerg's base for the armory? We may see some Thor action at any time soon, which could be very, very interesting indeed. So it looks like these Mutalisks just gearing up to find any kind of avenue of attack that they can do. Looks like these siege tanks are going to be in a... Actually, this is a bit of an odd attack at this point. Really wouldn't be moving out to the middle of the map here to be able to deal with this. And look, this Ling actually spotted them. The Ling's going to be trying to come in for us around. I don't know if they can get it off. It may look like we're almost catching them out of siege. Trying to move in here. The Mutalisks focusing down the siege tanks. And now actually catching so much of this army off guard. This is looking really bad for DBS at this point. Moving out was such an odd decision, but falling back to the, bunker and this, and he really needs to be able to repair that, but at the same time, losing a lot of these Mutalisks. And I can't emphasize enough the Mutalisk retention. Oh, flying over a missile turret as well at the gold. That's not what you want to be doing with Mutalisks. Mutalisk retention in this matchup is absolutely vital when it comes to the late game. And as you can see, NrSfishlips is, behind on the supply. DBS behind this has done a great job of macroing up. So if it gets to a point where he hasn't kept his Mutalisk retention, or his Mutalisk retention has been poor, then he could be in a position where he just doesn't have enough to be able to crush a specific timing. So we'll have to see if DBS can take advantage of that. Maybe killing off more Mutalisks would be advantageous, but it depends on whether or not DBS allows him to do that. He doesn't want to push into these Marines, as Stimmed Marines do melt Mutalisks despite their numbers. And it just depends on, how many Mutalisks, I guess. If there's 50, they're going to be able to kill 8 Marines. So, it all depends on the number game. So, Fishlips going to be going for this fourth here. Meanwhile, they're actually taking the gold and a sensor tower up. I love sensor towers. So underused in every matchup, in my opinion, for Terran. But indeed, they do cost a little bit of gas, and gas is so important for Terrans in these positions. And now actually scouting that out, does see everything that is going on at the gold, as you can plainly see there. But going to be moving up once again with these Marines, trying to deny this hatchery from going down. This hatchery will be forced to cancel. And unfortunately, will the drone get away? Oh, barely, but a big surround going to be coming in, cleaning this up pretty darn well. A few banelings in here, doesn't want to waste those on the lone Marines. And we'll finish that off just so well. So now more barracks on the way, 10 Marines in production already. Has going to be throwing down probably more reactors on these barracks in order to be able to deal with any kind of pushes that do come along. Once again, just keeping great macro up. And, keeping ahead of the Zerg at every step of the way. Fishlips, though, doing a good job of squashing the attacks coming and actually throwing a turret up next to the Izelnaga tower, but that indeed will be cleaned up there as the Mutalisks are just doing a good job of keeping their eyes on the map, but getting a little bit of damage there. Doesn't really want to be committing the Mutalisks so heavily in that position. And now it looks like he's just gearing up for massing. That's all I can really say about that. Just massing up at this point. Going to be switching into some Thor production here at this point. Love seeing Thors in this matchup. Such a strong unit, 400 HP, can take such a battering, especially if you've got a few SCVs littered in there to repair, and they can be very, very pesky indeed. Looks like, though, these Mutalisks are in good numbers to be able to engage these missile turrets now, and right now there really isn't really much to defend. There's Thor there, though, but magic boxing over it and taking it out, which is very, very wise in these positions, and really wants to whip push his way back into this game at this point. But at the same time, a big push from DBS going to be coming up here, separating these bases, putting himself in a fantastic position, not only to deny that base there, but also push himself into the third. Going to be sieging up with a few siege tanks. These Marines will be able to clean this up pretty quickly. Metalopolis is going to have to retreat, although they are taking a little bit of fire from those missile turrets. And once again, denying that fourth, denying the third, taking it fully out. But it looks like the Zerg is going to go for a huge counter-attack here. DBS is just looking to slow push his way into the second, perhaps, as it looks like NrSfishlips is going to be coming in here. Planetary Fortress is morphing in, but it's not going to be in time. All the siege tanks go, SCVs go down, and wisely cancelling that Planetary Fortress. Going to be lifting that off, doesn't want to lose that merely to Zerglings. Metalopolis is going to be coming in here, taking that out as quickly as possible. And the big thing now is that just exploiting the mobility of this force is so strong, but at the same time he's only on 2 bases. He's pretty much mined out at his main. So many Banelings morphing in now. And this could get very dodgy, ladies and gentlemen. It always depends on the micro of the Terran player, whether he can move those Marines back in time to be able to avoid those Banelings. I'm really not sure what Fishlips is going to be able to fall back on, as, you know, DBS has such a great economy behind this. Just coming to the income tab, it's plain to see there. And, you know, this isn't very well saturated at all, but he's got so many SCVs there that he could saturate with, and Fishlips forced to try and double expand at this point, as he really doesn't have any economy whatsoever in comparison to this crazy, crazy saturated gold base. Really would like to see this base a little bit more saturated, but he is going to be taking his fourth down to the south. Looks like more Banelings going to be morphing in here. Oh, excuse me. Talking, like, constantly is very, very challenging, a lot more challenging than you would expect. And a lone SCV here going to be able to deny this hatchery along with his Marine friends, and going to be stimming in once again. But at the same time, a few Marines going to be taking out some Overlords there, going to be sent to get the surround, but the Marines to the north going to be able to deny this hatchery once again. This base has just been under assault constantly, not allowing it to go up at all. Great job there. These Zerglings and Banelings and whatever are going to have to come up here once again to try and secure this. And looking at the upgrades here, only 2-0 on these ground units, and on the Metalisks we have 1-0. Whereas for the Terran, he's on 3-3 almost, so he's going to be in a great position to be able to deal with this. Metalisks will find that though, and Zerglings will come in to clean this up. Don't want to waste too many. 1 or 2 Banelings do go off there. Not the greatest use of Banelings, but at the same time we do have a big drop in the main. The Marines actually stimming up, going to be able to take out this macro hatch very, very quickly indeed. And at the same time, just trying to establish a bit of presence in the middle. Oh, catching the Metalisks all off guard. That is huge. As taking out this macro hatch will also be huge as well, limiting the lava supply for our Zerg play here. But all the Banelings going to be rolling into the Marines and killing them off so quickly. And now it's a case of whether or not he can actually clean up all the Marines in his natural. Baneling's actually going to be rolling into Thors as well. Not the best use of Banelings, but at the same time he's going to be able to clear this up, but just barely. Meanwhile, macroing behind this like a boss. DBS is so far ahead in supply, 50 supply ahead. More Banelings are just morphing in here, there, and everywhere. More Zerglings on the way. But DBS has just done such a great job of limiting his opponent to these bases. And now, you know, only the third base is really kind of saturated for our Zergy player right now. Whereas DBS has got such a great economy behind it. Again, coming to this income tab, both players pretty even actually. The gold base is almost mined out, so you wouldn't be surprised if he does try to claim these lower bases.